Hello and welcome back to Outside Views, and bro, we need to talk. And today I want to talk about some news that for me is both incredibly shocking and deeply disappointing. It's the news that Great Britain, Canada and Australia, and meanwhile even Portugal, have officially decided to recognize the state of Palestine. On the surface, this might sound like a positive, progressive move towards peace, but for me, it's a profound and a dangerous mistake. This is a decision that, in my opinion, undermines the very foundation of a lasting peace in the Middle East. It's a decision that I believe it's not a step toward any solution, but a premature and reckless political act. And in my view, it rewards the very forces that are working against peace. This is not a step that should be taken at the beginning of the peace process, but only at the very end of one. And reports tell us that this was a coordinated move with the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Canada's Mark Carney, and Australia's Anthony Albanese all making the announcement at the same time. And for me, this feels less like a genuine act of statesmanship and more like a political maneuver designed to appease domestic critics. In the UK, Keir Starmer has been under immense pressure from within his own Labour Party, which has been growing increasingly critical of Israel's actions in the Gaza war. And just a few months ago, Starmer himself had set out specific conditions for Israel to meet before any recognition. And these conditions included a ceasefire, a commitment to a two-state solution, and an improvement of the humanitarian situation in Gaza. And you know what's happening with the Hamas. You know about the hostages that are still held. Why wasn't the condition release all the hostages before we do that? Even then it would still be too early, but there is no ceasefire. There is still hostages in the hands of the Hamas. Unfortunately, a lot of them not alive anymore. But seriously, the UK has rushed this decision just before the UN General Assembly. The assembly will be after I'm filming that, but before you see this video. But still, I don't know what happened there at that point, but I have to film right now. So we will see. But in my view, this recognition is anyway a betrayal of the UK's own stated position. It's an admission that the government wasn't able to get its conditions met from both sides, but it's going ahead with a major diplomatic concession anyway. And that's why this, for me, feels like a monumental mistake. And Israel has repeatedly warned against this kind of action. It has called such a move a reward for the terrorist organization Hamas, and they are right at that point. In my personal view, Israel is absolutely right. You know that I'm criticizing the Israeli government for a lot of things, of them handling the situation. But still, here they are 100% right. And by recognizing a state without a negotiated peace deal, Great Britain, Canada, Australia, Portugal, and meanwhile perhaps even Spain, in effect giving a victory to the forces that are working against a peaceful solution. They are giving away a major bargaining chip without getting anything in return. And that's why, for example, my country, Germany, didn't do that. A true two-state solution, the creation of an independent Palestinian state living peacefully side by side with Israel, cannot be imposed from the outside. It must be the result of a long, difficult and painful negotiation between both sides. It must include a secure and peaceful Israel, and a viable and independent Palestinian state that recognizes the right to existence of Israel. By giving one side what it wants, without it having to make any concessions or commitments to peace, these countries have, in my opinion, undermined the entire incentive for a negotiated settlement. They have told one side that it can get its state without ever having to sit down and negotiate with its neighbor, the neighbor they attacked on October 7th. And this feels like a political act of cowardice, a rushed decision to get a difficult issue off the table. And the report suggests that the UK government even moved up the timing to avoid the Jewish New Year. This feels like a symbolic gesture, a way to signal something to domestic audiences without actually achieving anything for peace. And it could have massive global implications. As I said, Portugal also recognized the Palestinian state. And what happens when this becomes a domino effect? Will a Palestinian state be recognized by dozens of countries, but without a peace treaty, without a government that can truly control its own territory, and without any guarantees for Israel's security? This is a recipe for more chaos and more conflict, and not for peace. The UK government said it believes that Hamas should play no role in the administration of the Gaza Strip, sure. But by recognizing a state now, what leverage do they have to make sure that that happens? I seriously believe this move has made the situation worse and not better. It has made a two-state solution less likely and not more. Because a true two-state solution can only come from a place of mutual recognition and mutual respect, not from a unilateral, rushed and politically motivated act. A state should be the end of a long journey, not just a box tick. By taking this step, these countries have, in my view, made a grave mistake. They have betrayed the principle that peace must be earned through hard work, diplomacy, and a commitment from all parties. And they have, in my opinion, undermined the very foundation of a just and lasting peace. So thanks for joining me today on Outside Views, and I'm really looking forward to your opinions, but I know how emotional that whole thing is. Stay civil in the comments. I usually do not delete comments, otherwise they tend to be very uncivilized. YouTube is filtering out some, but as long as you stay civilized, I let both sides talk. So please do talk and stay civil, guys. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.